Instead of thinking like, hey, I need to go redo something, I go and say, hey, there's a life that I can make an impact in, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing here.
I'm in the big leagues, told her don't miss me. Ballin' like Houston, ayy, feeling like Whitney. I need a bag, bruh, send it through quickly. I'm making his dog, like I'm in the big leagues. Told him that I gotta go, dog. I'm riding the road, y'all. I think that I'm back in my bag now. So I need that go, y'all. Got hits when he throwing the fastball. Just too quick for it, peeling off like the whip orange.
Welcome back, friends. This is a Do Good movement. Our purpose here is to make a positive impact in our society through real-life education. The movement comes into play when you share the content to help other people do good just like you. These films are interesting, man. Let me tell you something real quick. I literally, so the studio's at one of our offices right now, and I'm on the grind. Like, I'm on the go all day long. And I'll literally be in a meeting, doing something, on calls, to shutting that off and literally walking a couple of doors down and jumping in front of the camera and say, hey, cool, we're going to shoot a podcast. It's on the schedule. Let's get in that mindset and let's shoot. So it's crazy, and somehow it comes together. So thank you guys for continuing to motivate us and pushing the movement out. Now, today I want to talk to you guys about doing things twice. And it's something that we've all probably experienced, right? If it's something around the house, if it's something at work, if I'll let you come up with your own, scenario, but doing things twice. And usually that's a frustration point for people. I'm like, why am I doing this again? I shouldn't have to do that. And we put ourselves in this like privileged spot of saying, well, we've done this before. We're too good to have to go back and do it again. Well, the honest truth is we're not too good to go do it again, and we weren't really good enough in the past to be able to move forward on to that next thing. The reason we're having to revisit something, the reason we're having to redo something is we didn't do a good job in the beginning, if that's necessarily with the task, if that's training somebody, if that's setting the exact expectation, if that's building the right process, if that's seeking for understanding with the team, whatever that might be. If we have to go back and redo something, that falls on us and part of our job that we didn't do the right way. So that's the first thing I want you to think of. Next time you have to go back and fix something, there's something that you could have done better, and try to understand what that is when you have to go back and fix it. And that's going to help you change your mindset on how you look at this opportunity that comes up and say, you know what? I'm going here. Something got messed up, right? But how do I fix this for long term? What did I miss? So when I go back this second time to work on it, how do I change my approach? How do I change my influence? How do I change my work ethic? Whatever that might be, so you don't have to go back and do it again. Now, that's one approach, right? So do that. And the second approach I want you to do is maybe there's a reason, and it's a reason that you might not know until later in life on why you had to go redo something. And let me give you an example right now. We've had some hiccups in one of our operations. And each year I spend 2 to 3 months in one of our operations, and I get to work with our frontline members, and I get to work with our customers, and I get to learn really on how to improve, how to do better, and then how to seek talent within. A lot of our team members on front lines are the next up-and-comers, and I really start talking to them and working with them, and I start planting the seeds for my future leaders. And then other times when I go down into our operation, our warehouse, things have been completely out of control that as a company, I thought we were past that, right? And so when I go home and talk to my wife and say, hey, we're in that season, she's like, oh, that season, right? The season's, I'm going to be busting my ass, and we're probably not going to see each other much besides on the weekends. And the conversation go like, well, why does this keep happening? And that's the scenario one that I talked to you about on this is what I'm going to go do to fix it and seek to understand it. It all really comes down with me. No matter the people, all that stuff, it comes down with me. Maybe I didn't have the right support system. Maybe I promoted the wrong person. Maybe I brought in the wrong person. Maybe I didn't have a backup plan. Maybe I rushed training or didn't document the processes well enough. Maybe the system was too manual when I left, and I should have brought in a better system before I moved on. I rushed it. Whatever that might be, that all falls back on me on why I have to revisit that season. But also there's times where some of those things were put together And there's this calling where I need to go back into that facility and put in the work. And I can't find the reason on exactly why it happened. And so then I trigger my mind mentally and say, Dylan, there's a reason you're here today. And there's somebody's life that you possibly need to influence. They might only have one more day of breath that they think they have, right? And so I don't know what road I'm going to cross. And so when I say, when I have that calling, when that hits my desk saying, hey, we need your support here, Dylan, I look at it as there's somebody down there. Like, this is like a message basically from God saying, hey, let's get in there. There's some influence you need to do. There's a life you're going to be able to save here. There's a good impact you're going to be able to make that's going to be able to change somebody's future forever. And I go in with that attitude. So instead of thinking like, hey, I need to go redo something, I go and say, hey, there's a life that I can make an impact in, and that's what I'm supposed to be doing here. Some business stuff, great. There's some fixes and all that kind of stuff, but there's a person side, and through time of building this business the last 11 years, I've built a talent on how to help people and help find the potential in them and show them that they have more potential than what they think they have. And so just within that short amount of time, I've been able to, get a couple people promoted over to sales. I have another person looking at another promotion. I've brought people that were in the frontline roles into leadership roles and teach them that, and pay increases, influence increases. It gives people hope, and people who have been in the same job for a very long time, if it's with us or somebody else. And so that, just in this short amount of time doing it, some very, very quick impact that was made that has changed lives. And there's been also some hard conversations and some things that have happened where people are impacted in personal lives. We're able to do some one-on-one coaching and help talk to people and work through them and basically be their mentor in those ways. And it's helped a lot of things. So when I go home at night, I feel I don't know if the gratitude or whatever is the right way, but I just feel good on the inside because I've served a purpose that's bigger than business, that's bigger than finance, and it's served other people. So now I get to go home and say, hey, here's the impact that I made by being able to go jump into this opportunity. If we didn't have this opportunity in the business, I would have never crossed paths with this person. And so that's the second step I want you guys to start doing, part of this movement, right? It's listening, understanding, and then now you need to go act. You need to go do what we're talking about in your life, in your business, in your job, in your relationships, right? So that second thing would be, hey, forget the business side of it. Obviously, go get that taken care of in step one, but go in with understanding that this is a calling for you to make an impact in somebody's life, and that's why you're getting called back into there. And when you start looking at it that way, that you're here to serve others versus serve yourself and poor me, you're going to go into that next thing, that redo work, with a smile on your face and be grateful when that opportunity comes, because you're going for one purpose. You're going to serve. Best feeling in the world, guys, and you're going to leave happy. It's going to impact the people that you're communicating with, and it's also going to help define your character, define your identity to become that person that you want to be. So that's my step one. That's my step two. When you have to redo something, go to this podcast, listen to step one, listen to step two. Again, it is very key. Just like when you guys learn something new in life, you got to take in the information. A lot of times writing it down will help. So you could rewatch the show, rewatch the podcast, write down the information. Now it's time to practice it, right? And so when we talk about the movement for you guys to help other people do good just like you now know the content, right? You need to start putting this content in your day-to-day life, through your conversations, through what you do at work. People are going to start looking at you a little bit weird because they're starting to see you shift, starting to see you rise up, right? And some people try to pull you down. Forget that. Just keep going, keep applying it, and next thing you know, you're going to be at that next level that we've talked about in other podcasts. So there's a lot of good information that I talk about here. There's a lot of good information that when we bring guests onto the show, they talk about here. Take in the pieces and apply it to your life, and that's how change is made. We need help in the society to make better. We need help in the society to make change, and the people control that, right? So if you guys now know some of these little tricks and secrets, start doing it, start applying it, and then you're going to have other people come to you and be like, hey, how do you do this? Or you might say, I'm going to go start this podcast, whatever it might be. Like, go do it. If I could change one of you for the better, you could change one person for the better, and we keep that train, we're going to work through the society really quick. The only reason I'm doing this whole movement, not to get paid, I'm looking just to make that impact. What I learn, I want to give it back. And if I could change one life, that's good enough. That's worth every expense. That's worth every minute, every second that we put into this thing. That's what I have for you today. Do good.